Well, welcome back. Today's the first day of my trout season. I've had, in truth, a few minutes casts. So it's not really completely the first cast, but it's the first real outing, you know. I just stopped beside the road and had a quick cast now and again, you know. So, yeah. So today's the first real day of my trout season, and I'm out walking the moor here. It's bitterly cold, really cold day. So less than ideal, to say the very least, but it's what I've got. It's been a cold spring, you know, there haven't been any mild days, and the wind has been constantly in the north, northeast, northwest, and I think with north and northeast today is what we're going for. So I'm going to go on and walk on a wee bit. I finished on this loch last year, and I started in this loch last year, so it'll not be new to anybody who watches my channel, but I'm going to nip over, have a cup of tea, make my way to the loch, have a few casts, and we'll see how it goes from there. So the forecast for today is bright sun all day. Now, as you can see, it's been pretty overcast, but I can see a wee blink of blue up there. Now, bright sun isn't ideal for fishing, but I'm hoping it'll make for a nice day out, you know. Nice sunny day, might not catch any fish, but at least I'll get a wee spring day, if you like, because it's still, well down in single figures temperature wise at the minute, and as you can see, the moor's looking very dead. There isn't much growth yet, so it's still early, end of April, but hopefully this sun will break through, and we're going to go across there and have a wee cup of tea, and then make our way over to the loch. So that'll be a pleasant experience, hopefully. Get the cup of tea going, you can't beat it. Because I'm going to go around and fish the far side of the loch, I'm following a slightly different course than normal, just because of the wind direction. Oh, we snipe. So I think I'm going to go across the wee burn here. You see, this is the wee burn that comes out of the loch, and there is actually water flowing in there. Just, you see, it's way down in the hole. Don't know if you can see that. So what I'm going to do is come up here, find somewhere that's a bit less, or well, a bit more sheltered, a bit less in the wind, maybe like here, and get the cup of tea on the go. Just going to peek round the corner, see if there's a better spot. Yeah, I'm not seeing one, so you see, it's a rather jolly wee burn, really. It's just some place that flows underneath the peat. So I'm going to get the tea on here, and we'll have a wee cup of tea, and then I'll continue my hike to the loch. So I'm sitting here up above the wee burn, and I've got the cup of tea on the go, as you can probably see. And it's great. I've even got a wee bit of shelter from that northerly wind, and it is possible the clouds are breaking up. I think I saw a wee glimpse of sun over on Soinaval, Militiaval, over at Hamnaway. I can sort of see the hills just, so it's possible the clouds are going to break up and we're going to get sun. And of course I've had my stove on, it's down there, you see. I've had my stove on and I'm getting tea, which is the priority. So it hasn't been, so far we haven't had many wee warm days, you know. I've been here mostly for sheep and lambs and stuff like that, but I've had also a couple of days now for a spring salmon, with no success other than I did see one. And spring salmon are super rare on Lewis. Like, I mean, there's maybe 5 caught in a good year, and nobody fishes for them, they're that rare. So, or well, very few, you know, the odd cast. But so I'm having a bit of fun doing that. I've done 2 days just, and I mean, most times I would do 1 day every 2 years or something like that. I only even started that relatively recently. So, and I've been very lucky with spring salmon and Lewis. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Maybe I'll go out and give them a bash tomorrow, I think. And we'll see how we go. But that's about all the excitement, really. I don't imagine this is going to be an exciting day of trout fishing, but oh, it's so good to be out here again. Get a walk, get out on the moor, see all the wee burns and the moss and all that. Now, what I'm not seeing is the golden eagle. I think the sea eagle put him off his normal nest over there last year. I haven't seen the sea eagle either. So just normally you would see him out here, you know. But maybe when the weather brightens up, he'll ride the thermals. He likes a bit of that, you know. So we'll hike on towards the loch. I'll see which side of it I have to fish. It's one of those days the wind's a wee bit down the middle, but we'll take a pick. And we'll give it a wee bash, and hopefully we'll maybe get a wee fish or two. It's going to be difficult in this cold wind, but we'll give it a try. Well, I've reached the loch at last, and as you can see, it's not a very impressive loch, but nonetheless, it's not very deep. It's pretty shallow, and weedy in places. Well, the theory is, of course, that the shallow lochs might warm up a wee bit in the spring, but in actual fact, because there hasn't been anything to warm them up, I suspect it's at the same temperature as it has been. But I'm hoping to see that maybe a wee fish somewhere might be mad enough to have decided that it needs to feed now that the spring has arrived. So this is what I'm kind of aiming for here. I don't know what my chances are. It's not a lot of fish in this loch. They're certainly not big, but there is always the chance of 1 or 2 for a day, you know. So what I'm going to do, oh dear, I'm out of breath. I'm getting old, plus this is the first walk of the year, you know. So what I'm going to do is walk around to the far side, because as you can probably see and hear, the wind is in my face here. I think that's a sheep over there, maybe with a lamb. You know, I think she's got a lamb. Well, she shouldn't be out here with a lamb. Yeah, she's got a wee lamb, a tiny, tiny wee lamb. Looks like, oh, there's 2 sheep, is there? Is there one dirty one? Yeah, there's 2 sheep out there with 1 wee tiny lamb. Well, can you believe it? Mostly, obviously, the lambs are brought home, or, well, the sheep are brought home to have lambs. But this has been one that somebody has missed. You see, sometimes they wander all over the moor and you can't gather all of them. It's just not physically possible, you know. So obviously that's one that's been missed, but she's over there with her wee lamb. So we'll maybe see her later, though she'll probably be gone by the time we get over there. And I'll walk around the end of the loch. There is a bit over there across the loch from me where those stones are. It's a bit deeper than the rest of the loch. and I always wonder if maybe the better trout wouldn't be in it. But I've never caught anything in that bit, so we'll maybe give that a wee throw, see if we can get any success, and then by then it'll be time for another cup of tea. I don't have the banana with me today, so that's quite remarkable. I'm having a banana-free day, so if you're only here for the bananas, you can go away now. Actually, if you're here for the fish, you can probably go as well. So the first real trout fishing of the year, and isn't it great to come out here, get a cast, and I would be almost certain that I'm the only person that has fished here since I had my first cast of the season out here last year at the end of March, because nobody comes out here and they'd be mad to do so. But I love it, of course, it's great. I have had a couple of casts just beside the road in the passing, and have actually managed to catch a fish, but this is the first real fishing of the year. You know the way sometimes you just jump out the car for 2 minutes, but today has been a bit of an adventure, and I walk out here and I come the whole way out and whatnot, and I see a wee brightening, because the forecast's for bright sun all day, and I do see just the wee hint of a brightness now, so maybe it'll brighten up. I have one of John McLean's Barvis cripplers on the top, and one of his clan chief variations on the point, a very tiny one. So I'm mostly starting off with something pretty bright. And I can change that during the day, as we go along. Really, John should have one of these emergency numbers, like the 999. It should offer you, police and Coast Guard and stuff, and John McLean's flies. Because if you get stuck out here without a decent fly, you could have an emergency, So this part of the loch, I think it's a wee bit deeper out here. Pretty much, I think I've never caught a fish in this wee bit. But, I mean, there must be fish in it, It's always up the bank a bit that I get fish. So I like to give this a wee bump on the way past and give it a try, because someday I'll be successful, maybe. I've got the Buffalo Special 6 on now. I don't know, if you don't have a Buffalo Special 6, order one immediately for autumn and spring fishing. They're just brilliant, Everybody should have one. I know there's all sorts of probably fancier, trendier things to wear these days, but the Special 6 is definitely the business. So get on the phone now and get one ordered up. not so neat a cast. I'm not so surprised that I'm not moving fish here down this end, because usually if I'm going to get a fish here, I get it up the far end. Oh, well, there's one. so I'm not so surprised not to be doing too well here, you know. There we go. As ever, on the Barvis crippler. Oh, let's see if I can kneel down on this wee stone and get him in. Ah, he's quite a good wee fish for here. And lively. Bit thin maybe, but it's early in the year. So there he is. Don't know if you can see him, but thin, but it's very early in the year. Oh, well, you know this, he snagged on the tail fly on the way out. There we go. So, I'm making an absolute mess of this, but then of course, that's the first real fish of the year. And a decent fish for this loch, thin, but then it's early in the season, you know. Oh, that was my phone. And out comes the sun as well. Maybe the fish detected the wee change. So I'm just bouncing my way along the bank here, just keep moving. I think I'll probably stop for another cup of tea and some lunch pretty soon. But and there's those sheep and the lamb around the other side. It looks like there's a big sheep and a wee sheep and a very tiny lamb. Huh? Can't quite work out the arrangement. It almost looks like a sheep, last year's lamb, on this year's lamb, you know. So I've had my lunch, or at least I've 2 rolls with me and I've had the first roll. I might have a second lunch in a minute or two. You know, I don't want to restrict myself to just one lunch. That'd be very limiting. And it looks like the clouds are starting to break up. Now it's hard to tell, but I've taken the buffalo off in the hope that it's going to get too hot to wear the buffalo. And of course this may just be wishful thinking. But I have the odd wee blink of sun now. I changed the point fly from a Clan Chief variant to one of John's Connemara blacks, the ones I really like, that he ties sort of as bob fly type patterns, but they're find a great fly as well. I still have the Barvis crippler on the top. Thought I would keep it, and we'll see how that goes. Now, there's stones out there. I know it's really shallow here, and I usually hook the bottom here. So, but I'm sure I saw a fish move, and I think I think that was a kind of combination, both of a fish moved and I hooked a stone. Because as you can see, it's really quite shallow in here, and it stays shallow for quite a way out. And again, it's the kind of loch that might benefit for a pair of waders, you know. Don't know really, but you kind of think, well, that might work well on it, you know. Oh well. Again, it's shallow off here, but I have had fish off here before, so there's fish here somewhere, if only I could find them. Again, it's a very shallow in here, so we won't be too surprised if we hook the bottom and lose a fly or two, you know. Oh, and the wind's been a bit awkward. plovers. Well, I'm surprised we haven't moved a wee fish here, because it's usually a spot, you know, that you will, but saying that, it's kind of still like winter weather. So I think it's time to depart this loch and maybe head for the back towards the car, and I'll maybe have a cast on the way over. I'll see how I go, but might have a wee cast on a wee loch as I go past. The other thing I might do is have another roll. I've 2 rolls with me for my lunch and I only had 1, so I'm starting to think like another roll might not be a bad idea, you know, before I start my walking. So I think that's my plan. I might go up there to the end of the loch to have the other roll. But I think we'll call it done here. Only the 1 fish, so I was hoping for 2, but that's okay. Oh well. Don't think this one counts in view of the fact I was reeling in, plus it's smaller than the fly. Oh dear. So it snatched at the Digby's demon just as I went to reel in. So there's another wee fish. I'll put him back. Off he goes. Oh way. So I don't know if that one counts in view of the fact I was reeling in, you know, but I was hoping I'd get 2 fish off here today. In view of the conditions, you know, that I thought was pretty good, pretty hopeful, wishful thinking. So now we'll go and have the rest of our lunch, I think, and then start walking, you know, that's the plan. So I've got lunch number 2 on the go, the second roll, and then I'm going to start walking for the car, but I might fish the next loch over on the way over. And as you can see, I've got a wee beach all to myself. The sheep have been across it. There was sheep on this side of the loch earlier with a new lamb, and they went round that side, so I don't know where they've gone. So I'm going to have my roll, take in the view. It's a nice view. And start walking for the car, and I might have a wee cast on the way back. What's not to like about that, you know? So I've stopped up here for just a quick cast on the way back to the car, just because this loch is sort of between where I was and where I'm going. So it makes a shame not to give it a wee throw. As you can see, I now have a fairly stiff an extremely cold wind. So although the wee wave maybe is helpful, I don't think the cold wind's very helpful for trout fishing, you know. However, I'm not going to fish here very long, just sort of a few casts, 10 minutes maybe at most, just to get the sort of the breath back on the walk, and then that'll do me. Sometimes the fish do lie in under the banks here, so it's often worth a wee cast along the bank as well as out from it, you know. Oh, oh, I lost it. It was like a wee pluck and it was on, and then it was a wee pluck and it was off, and then, so it came all sorts of ways. I've still got the Barvis crippler on the top and the leggy Digby's demon on the point. So, good combination, I would think. So that'll do me. Great first day at trout, and very changeable weather, changeable day. Cold though, wind in the northeast, you know. So not ideal, but I've got to go now and feed lambs and feed sheep and do these things and maybe sort things out, you know. So hopefully maybe there'll be another video and you'll maybe tune in and we'll see how that goes. Who knows?